Hey everyone, I just wanted to go live for a little bit here on YouTube. I started this drawing earlier today in the morning, and I've been working on and off of with it all day long here and there, and just wanted to work a little bit. And if anyone joins the live stream, I'll do a little Q&A perhaps, but let's just have some fun and let's grab a pencil and let's just draw a little bit. What I've been doing a lot today is using the mono zero eraser. I'll zoom out shortly to show you the whole drawing, but it gets a little small when I zoom out. I've been drawing a lot with this eraser, and it's been working really nicely. Uh, for some reason, I can't get the video to represent the drawing as nice as I would like it to. Sometimes that happens, both with photography. I hear that a lot in the critique gallery at drawingtutorialsonline.com that the photo looks nothing like the drawing. And I get that. Hopefully you can't hear what I'm listening to through the microphone here. If anybody can hear, let me know what the band is. I'm actually watching a concert on YouTube right now. Okay, so just putting in a little bit of this super duper skinny top plane. Oh, you can't see the top plane. So let me zoom out. Yeah, let me zoom out a little bit. So I'm working the whole drawing at once. So let me bring this down ever so slightly. That's pretty cool. Thank you, Kimberly. Let me see if I can zoom in a touch. Okay, I'm going to try to get it, squeeze it in at risk of having tangents. Tangents is when your drawing touches the edge of the video monitor, and I have some really ugly tangents, but I want you guys to see the drawing as big as you can. Okay, so at this point in the game, I'm going to start to, where are my comments? Okay, there we go. Let's curve around. Okay, and curve around the lat muscle with some strokes. I know this is very small stuff for you to see here. Hey, Richard, how are you, man? So yeah, just let's work this arm a little bit. So gravity is going to droop this arm, even though it's a marble statue. You still want to have it look like a real figure. That was the intent of the sculptor, I do believe. Okay. I was pulled away from my art. I forgot how I did what I did, so I look here to see what I did. Okay, so let's just kind of just refine in some edges and turn in up top over there. Now I kind of want this to be a little bit more solid. Good. Just got to be careful I don't go too dark. So now let's play with this eraser. It's so cool. Okay, so let's just pull some pencil off of the paper. Yeah, cool. And that forearm's very skinny. So let's pull out a little bit more of the top of her hair. Good. Dig in that. And then this is very hard to decipher what it is, whether it's the back of her hair or the back of her hand. Having a hard time with that one. Pull out some more lights. Now, this is what I've been doing. I'm kind of going against the grain a little bit of what I normally do, meaning I like to keep my shadows fairly shadowy. I took this photo at the Metropolitan Museum of Art. I teach classes there in the summertime, and I've been going there for, like, I don't want to tell you how many years I've been going there. It'll show you how old I am. But this is a beautiful statue in the American Wing Sculpture Court, which is my favorite place on this planet. It's such a cool place to visit. And so, yeah, I took this picture. I have these pictures on my website. I'm not promoting the website. I'm just saying that's where I have them. Maybe what I'll do is I'll create a blog post tomorrow or the next day of this video, and I'll put the photo available for download on the blog post. I, Yeah, there's two different types of drawing. There's tonal drawing, which is what I'm doing on the inside, and then there's also tone in the background. I talked about that in last week's live stream about background tones. This is just when teachers say that they hate lines, I get that 100%. There's no such thing as a line. It's a tone next to a tone. And that's all cool. And I used to do that when I painted. But I like lines so much that I kind of throw those rules out the window a little bit. For a period in my life, I adhered to those rules. But yeah, I've been doing this for so many years. If I just do tone next to tone constantly, do you really want to see me shade the whole background? No, no, not at all. That would be boring as all get out. So my favorite artist is Alphonse Maria Mucha, Mucha. So his line is the best. Okay, let me look at a couple of these questions here. So the reference I got, I photographed it at the Met. Why do you add darker values around the figure? At what point in the process do you add darker values? You mean this line here? So this has been a slow process all day of just building up values. I'm trying to match the values on the statue. Yeah, a lot of college instructors hate line. I'm a college instructor. My year-long DTO membership expired right when PTO started. That single year long ago is still a strong foundation. Yeah, I started PTO like probably 2010. Yep. Yeah, that's cool. It's all good, man. Just having fun here. Any questions? Just kind of hanging out. I started this early this morning, and I just wanted to come on, and I'm working on it. So I'm like, you know what? I got my camera set up. Let me just do a live stream and have some fun. I've been having fun with this little eraser thing, like so cool. Somebody asked me today if I use a pencil extender, and I don't, but I've been experimenting. A student gave me this, Dan, and it's this aluminum pencil extender. It sounds so cool. Yeah, it's all good. I started DTO in 2008. Those rules, I totally agreed with you. That artist, say his name again. He is on your site. Alphonse Maria Mucha, M-U-C. Hold on now. I'll spell it on a scrap. Mucha. M-U-C-H-A. So just Google Mucha drawings and you'll get tons of them, and they're really awesome. Another great thing for you to Google is Waterhouse drawings. Okay, his drawings are tone, and he uses some line, and I love his artwork as well. Sketchbook paper. No, I'm using this paper. It's just, sorry for hitting the microphone. I hate when I do that because it hurts people's ears. Okay, 400 series, best, Strathmore, really generic drawing, recycled drawing paper. It's about 80 pounds. You can buy this at any art supply store. You can order it from Amazon. It's really easy to get. Yeah, this pencil extender, I don't know how much that costs because it was a gift. These pencils are pretty cheap, actually. All right, so I was holding my pencil like this. I never hold my pencil like this, but I was coming on in and just doing some really soft tone with it. It was so much fun. I haven't held my pencil this way in a long time. So at this name of the game time in the drawing, I'm just kind of trying to match some values. And I'm trying to add the modeling factors. So there's reflections all over. This is a marble statue in a American Wing sculpture court with a marble floor and a glass ceiling. So there's light bouncing everywhere. So just kind of look in. I want to turn things. So I want to turn the inside of her arm over here. I don't want to go too crazy with his arm. I kind of want it to fade away and go into the background. So now I can do some unorthodox stuff with this eraser. So a lot of people wouldn't like this, and that's cool. To each their own. I love the line, and I want to have this reflection. This statue is bathed in reflected light, and it's so much fun to get that. I'm also adding texture in the background. Yeah, it's cheap paper. I mean, I sometimes I'll work on expensive illustration board, uh, and I paint it and I work on top of that. But for a YouTube tutorial style drawing, I'm just going to use this paper because it's cheap and easy, and I get good results with it. I'm very used to it. So just add in some texture. Cool. So yeah, I'm being very unorthodox. Just lots of cool texture with this. I'm trying to create the feeling that it's a tempera painting with all that kind of brushwork. There's a little reflection over here. Do you consider this drawing as finished even without doing all the background? Um, I would say that the torso will be finished when I'm done with it. The rest will be unfinished. So for me, when I look at this drawing, I consider it like a tutorial drawing. It's not like a finished drawing that I would work on myself. Although I've got hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of drawings that are, a lot of them are unfinished, and some of them could be considered works of art, and you can consider selling them. But right now, I'm titling this piece a tutorial drawing because I'm primarily doing it for teaching on YouTube. So we started it this morning with a live stream, and yeah, so background tones are awesome, and I love them. Yeah, I have the white charcoal. It's not going to be that effective on this paper. So this is my favorite go-to. It's a General's white charcoal pencil. Again, I don't really use pretentious materials. I kind of keep it simple. I want to be able to have stuff that I can buy. I don't like buying stuff that is hard to find. So white charcoal, let's see. Let's do a little experiment here. It's going to go a little bit lighter. Can you see that? Not much. I don't know if it's worth it. So I can try it a little bit on that highlight on the breast. A little bit. A little highlight over here. So far, I've just been using these materials. Okay, so I've been using, where is my brush? Oh, come on, don't tell me. Here we go. So I've primarily been using this brush. Nothing fancy. This eraser. And this pencil. Okay, so that was the first time I used like a different medium, the white charcoal. So if I play my cards right, I don't really need to use the white charcoal, and I really only use the white charcoal when I'm working on illustration board or toned paper, because it's not that effective on this white paper. So there's a beautiful real reflection here on her rib cage. That is so cool. So I want to add some form lines around her glute here, the side of her glute, the gluteus medius. This is called the tensor fasciae latae muscle. It's the funniest name ever for a muscle. So this is gluteus medius, and it's really bumping out. So just what you want to make sure you don't do is make the reflected light as the light. Okay? Do I still draw for pleasure? Yeah, absolutely. I mean, right now I'm swamped with coaching students. So every week I have phone calls and I've got to do critiques. So my schedule is really crazy. But, when you're a freelance artist, which is what I am, I basically, it comes in waves. So you either get really busy or you're really slow. So when I'm a little slow, that's when I kind of really indulge in my own art. And then uh, after my drawing class on Fridays, I draw with the model for a couple of hours. So that's my time. So it says here, sometimes I find the eraser spins the in the yeah. Yeah, I haven't discovered that this one is spinning. I've been very fortunate. Well, you know what I did? Okay, this is what I did. Can you see the end where it's chipped here? I cut that kind of clip that you're supposed to, like, who clips this on their pocket? Really? Do they really need that extra piece of plastic there? So I cut that thing off, and I noticed that stopped the spinning immediately. So just get a razor blade and slice it off, and don't cut your fingers off, okay? But yeah, that's what I did, and it helped tremendously. Because I hated that about the tool when I first got it. So I'm just going to go a little bit lighter over here. I want this to glow. It's a marble statue. I don't want it too dark. So this thing is perfect at taking a little bit of pencil off the paper. Um, yeah, you know, it's really cool. I've got this thing also. It's a Faber-Castell white India ink pen, waterproof. And I can experiment a little bit on another drawing. So here's a drawing from a coaching stint yesterday. And let's see what happens when I use this here. Okay, so you have to build it up a little bit, but it pops. Not bad. It dries cool. It dries much cooler than everything else. Mecha art. How are you, man? So that's another option. There's so much that you can do. I mean, if you play your cards right and you use this brush, and this brush puts a layer of smudged pencil all over the paper, that when you brush it with this and then you use that eraser, you get instant highlights. What type of technical pencil eraser is that? Mono Zero. Okay, I was very fortunate that a member of my website introduced me to this eraser last year, and I never even knew about it. So I learned so much from my students. It's really a back and forth process, and I'm very fortunate to have a lot of smart people who are my students. So I'm kind of just screwing around right now. I just want to have a conversation on YouTube with you guys. I mean, I don't know how far I'm going to push this drawing. It's 5:45 on a Saturday night. I've been doing this all day, setting up for the live stream, doing all that stuff that comes with that. And so I don't want to draw into the night. Definitely don't want to do that. Okay, so let me just pull the rib out a little bit. Technically, this rib should be darker than her breast because it's turning away from the light. But I don't care. Again, I'm trying to do unorthodox things with this piece. Sir, my man. Sheer, my man. Sheer? Is that how you say your name? Random question, but would you suggest to put in a portfolio? I've recently been accepted into college, but they want to see a portfolio before I actually start. Yeah, I mean, I would say that if you're accepted into college, they have to see a portfolio. At least the college that I teach at, the portfolio is a huge part of your admissions process. So I'm helping somebody put together a portfolio right now. I used to teach pre-college portfolio class at the School of Visual Arts. So the big thing with portfolio stuff is it really needs to tell stories, and you need to have a lot of variety. But yes, absolutely, a portfolio is a must. And just whatever you do in your portfolio, do not copy too much. Try to tell stories with your artwork and be very creative. I was not that creative when I was younger. For me, it was just about the painting when I put together my portfolio to get into college. So all I cared about was, does it look realistic? Does it look realistic? And I remember all of my portfolio pieces distinctly, like it was yesterday, and that was a long time ago. Just looking. Just look 50% and draw 50%. Don't draw 80% and look 20%. Just trying to figure out where I'm going to go next with this thing. I kind of want to leave the feet unfinished because I just want to show the unfinished quality to the piece. It relaxes the whole drawing. I could start to add some marble texture. But right now what I'm doing is I'm just adding form lines around the leg. What is your favorite movie and why? Ooh. Hands down, probably Saving Private Ryan. Uh, and why was that such a good movie? Because that was one of the few movies that I was pooping my pants when the tanks were coming at the end. And I'm like, I don't know how I would have reacted in that scenario when you're facing, tanks and you don't have a tank. And so that was a totally adrenaline packed, that last scene in Private Ryan, Saving Private Ryan. Um, I think I've watched that movie like 4 times over the years. I saw it when it originally came out in the movie theater. There's lots of other movies that I like as well, but that one just comes to mind. Art degree. In these crazy times, an art degree online, you better believe it. So, why do I say an art degree, you can get it online? Now, I teach at a college and I'm pro college, but I'm also pro not college. I'm both. Like, you can get away with not going to college because why? So, when I was an illustrator and I would show my portfolio to art directors, nobody ever, ever asked me for my degree. They only wanted to see my portfolio. They didn't care if I had a degree. So it's not about your degree, it's about your portfolio for getting jobs. Your degree is about you as a human being and experiencing different people, different challenges in life, learning new things in different departments. So I'm pro college because it's good for young people to get the experience of dealing with other people and you learn new things from other people, but you can learn the skills that you need to create a portfolio online. And again, nobody ever asked me to see my degree. They just wanted to see my portfolio. Okay, so here's a question. How many hours practice do you think is healthy daily to get really good at looking and drawing? It's different for everybody. So I was a raging lunatic in my 20s after college. Um, my goal was to become an illustrator, and so I knew that that was the only thing I was going to do with my life. And so I worked like 8 to 10 hours a day painting paintings, and I didn't almost, I did pretend as if I was already an illustrator, even though I wasn't. And so I just worked all those hours, at minimum 7 to 8 hours a day. But don't use me as an example. I was, like I said, a raging lunatic, and I was like, okay, I love my parents very much, but I don't want to live with my parents when I'm like 30 years old. So it's do or die time for me right now. So I just took my early 20s and really worked my butt off and got excellent at oil painting and painted book cover after book cover after book cover. But now for drawing, like just for a hobby, an hour a day, honestly, 2 hours a day. For me, I was on a mission to become a freelance illustrator, earning a living doing book covers. And so you need to do more than 2 hours a day. You need to live illustration. And that's what I did. So that was my foundation of skill doing that. But I kind of wrecked my body working all those hours. How many years later? Many, many years later. So it's about your end goal. What is your end goal? That should dictate the amount of practice that you do. Okay, so let's see here. Let me brush off some of these eraser crumbs. And let me sharpen this. So you see this eraser? Let's sharpen it at risk of ripping the paper. I don't really care. It's a practice drawing. So what I do here is take the razor blade, slice it, just push down, and you got a really cool point. See how that looks? and you could draw with this thing, and it is so cool. Let's see. So I think I'm coming to the end of this drawing here. So everything that I'm doing here is just kind of screwing around. That sounds cool. So let's just pull out a little bit over here. What's also very nice about this is that you could skinny up some of your lines. So over here, I might want to skinny up that line. Merge her hands right into her chest. This is her collarbone. I just want to clear up this edge here. This is an important edge for me. Whoa, that was wind. We have a little thunderstorm coming, I think. Yeah, I love kneaded erasers. Where's my kneaded eraser? This thing's been through the war. Okay, so let's pull it apart a little bit, clean it. Okay, and where can I use my kneaded eraser? I'm kind of past that point right now with the kneaded eraser, but we could, this is a marble statue, so we could do some marble striations with it, just for fun. We could lighten some edges. And let's do a marble striation over here. Right now, for this day, every day is different, but for this day, I'm really digging the Mono Zero eraser. So the kneaded eraser is my go-to, but the Mono Zero today is kind of kicking its butt. Oh yeah, there's no doubt that my style has changed over the years. Let me grab a paint and give me a moment. So I'm not going to be able to show you this whole thing, but this is the type of stuff that I used to do years ago for book covers. And so, yeah, my style's changed like big time. So I look at this painting and it's okay. You know, I got another little painting over here, if you bear with me. This one I might be able to put the whole thing on camera. So yeah, this is old. Holy Moses, this is old. So I used to do this type of stuff for book covers, and you know, I can do so much better now. But you know, that's where I was back in the day, and it was fun. It was fun. But yeah, my style has changed. So I used to do tone all the time with all my drawings, and I do tone, but I'm not a slave to it. And I think my line has gotten so much better because I don't really do the angles that much anymore. So when I start, let me grab this sketch here. Bear with me. So this was a warm-up drawing today of this before I started filming. And I thought I was going to use it a little bit more for teaching purposes, but I never did. And so when I used to start to draw, I would draw this arm with an angle. So angle, 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 and those angles are straight lines. And so I don't draw that way anymore, only when I'm doing a portrait, okay? So for me, it's all about organic line. So I love to draw with organic line now, but in the past I didn't know how to do that. So that has evolved for me over the years. So organic line is there's no straight lines. And I used to draw with the angles, and that's by nature a straight line. So to get this leg in, I would do an angle. And so that has changed dramatically. Okay, very good. Fabio Romance paper, back art. I respect it as art, not just illustration. Cool. So how would I approach illustration today differently? I would have chosen a different subject. So I chose young adult book covers because I could photograph my friends as models and use them. Models were a huge thing expense-wise. So if I chose romance book covers, the model was $150 an hour. I was like 22 years old out of college. I didn't have that. And most romance book covers need 2 models. So right away, you're spending $300 a painting just to hire models. So I chose young adult book covers out of practicality. But I teach this thing in the classroom called multiple streams of income. And with young adult book covers, you don't really sell those book covers. But if you're doing, I mean, after they're used on the book, but if you're doing fantasy art, and people are really into fantasy art, you can sell those paintings and you can sell prints of those. So to answer your question, to follow up with that, I would have chosen different subject matter for the legs that the painting would sell itself after it was used on the book cover. And my paintings, I have dozens and dozens and dozens of them in storage, and not one of them has ever sold because they're young adult book covers. Who wants a girl holding a flashlight in walking in a cemetery on a book cover hanging on their wall? Not too many people. Oil. Yeah, yeah, 90s, no doubt. Yeah, oil. It's been around for I don't know how long, so it's just the best. You can make oil paint dry in an hour, or you can make it dry in 2 weeks. You can do whatever you want with it. There's a lot of setup and a lot of prep time, no doubt, but oil. I want to turn this lat muscle a little bit more. Yeah, I just recently moved a lot of my paintings out of my studio, and so I've been looking at them more, and I've been allowing them to see the air. So I'm taking them out of storage and putting a couple each week around my studio, uh, just for fun. And so every once in a while, when I do a live stream, I kind of do a blast from the past, showing some of those old book covers. Tons of reflected light under the jaw. This line is a little inconsistent on her face. It's dark over here, and then it goes light. Least favorite part of the drawing is this arm. When you look at that arm and that wrist, it just looks extremely awkward. So I feel as though no matter how I draw it, it's going to look awkward. But I can try. Oh, yeah. Just looking a little bit more. I hate drawing clothes. I painted clothes for 20 plus years, and fabric, and oh my god, it's just the worst to paint fabric for hours on end. It's just so monotonous and so boring and so tedious. I can do it in my sleep, but I hate it. Okay. This eraser is very cool for drawing with. You can't even see probably what I'm doing, but it's pulling a little pencil off of the paper, and you're able to render with it a little bit. Um, I struggle with consistency. Uh, One of my goals, really, when I was younger in college and even in high school, was to be able to draw anything. Um, and that was my main goal. So if you ask me right now, okay, draw a car. Okay, I can draw a car. If you ask me right now, can you draw a turtle? Sure, I'll draw a turtle. Can you draw a flower? Yeah, I can draw a flower. So my goal is always to be able to draw anything. But I struggle with consistency in terms of not drawing enough each week and not disciplining myself to draw enough. Like this is my first drawing this week, and my other drawings were just like tutorial drawings, not tutorial drawings, but coaching drawings. So you do these drawings for coaching students who sign up, and you critique their drawings, and then you physically show them things. So they're just kind of like lesson drawings. So that's what I struggle with, sitting my butt down and drawing, because there's so many other things that take priority, and they shouldn't. If I was smart, I would sit down in the morning first and draw, and then do the rest of the stuff that I have to do. Just looking. I want to just turn this a little bit more. I'm having fun. I'm going against my rules here because it's a marble statue on a marble floor with a glass ceiling, so light is bouncing everywhere. If you make all the negative area very dark, will it not pop the whole piece and show the small issues so you can work on it perfectly? So, Joe, last week I did a live stream. You should check it out. It's on my YouTube channel. It's under live streams. Let me just lower this. I'm listening to a concert. I'm going to show you my iPad with fingerprints. I apologize. Yeah, so I'm listening to Cream right now in concert. A whole playlist on YouTube. It's so cool. You should check out the playlist that I have. It's live stream, and last week's lesson was how to do background tones. And everybody keeps asking me about backgrounds, and so I talked about gradations, reverse gradations. A lot of people really want to do the background thing. And for me, like I'm trying to look for something with a background around my studio, and I'm not seeing. I have a live stream drawing that I did on the wall behind me. I don't want to get up and get it right now, but adding the dark background it's just a commitment of time. And so the reason why I don't have the dark background here is just because it's a time thing on YouTube. I don't want to shade a dark background when people are watching me live stream because it takes forever. I mean, if I was to do that, where would the dark background really help me? Yeah, I use Photoshop. Right now, I'm physically drawing on a Cintiq on paper. I tape paper onto my Cintiq because I like the 45-degree angle. So I haven't seen that Has Been Hotel. So let's say over here, I wanted to start to build up my background tone. Sure, it would certainly help me to see things. It's just this is going to take forever. And you need to start lightly. You can't go in for the kill with the dark value immediately. So yeah, so I'm just going to come on in here. And this would make the statue pop. It's a decision. And nothing more and nothing less. So if you want to do the background tone, it would make the statue pop. It already, look, it's already making this pop out. Yeah, that's an issue, Joe. The lightest light is not light enough. So I could do more background tone, but quite frankly, I don't like, if I do background tone on this piece, number one, it's going to take me forever. Number two, this pencil is more of a warm gray, not so much like a cool gray like graphite. And I've done full backgrounds with it, and I don't love them. They're okay. I'd rather do an illustration on toned board. Let me go get an illustration that I have on toned board right over there. One moment. So this is, if I'm going to do a background tone, I'm going to do it on toned board. So I haven't finished this yet, but you can see I have illustration board and it's painted. And then I'm doing background tone over here, and I'm using white charcoal. So she's popping, and this is a different type of drawing. This is more of a commitment of time. I'm using multiple mediums. I'm using acrylic paint on illustration board with white charcoal, same Col-Erase pencil, and this is different. And like I said, it's all about time. So this is just a regular pencil drawing. Nothing more, nothing less. So you're right, Joe. The lightest light is not popping. It's not popping enough. Hey Jeff, what's up, man? Okay, let's see. So Jeff, I think you sent me a couple photos this week, and I don't think I answered your emails. I looked at them like you asked me to, but it's just been such a crazy week. Oh, we got a barking dog. So I'm slowly adding a little bit of tone over here. Okay, now if you're going to do the tone, the reason why I'm doing this background tone is because I want this arm, her right arm, to get a little bit more lost. I don't want that arm to pop. I want the torso to pop. And so I'm trying to just do similar values over there. I'm not copying the values in the photo. And I also want this to fade away. I don't want this to distract from the statue. Yeah, Jeff, here's my pad. It's Strathmore Drawing, recycled paper. This is one of my pads. It is 11 by 14. This is the paper I'm working on, 80 pounds. I love this paper. I have a lot of these pads. It's really cool. And you can do, let me see if what I have in this pad. I'm looking for a pad that had some cool drawings in it. This is not it. Let me grab this one. All right, we got Santana on now, my favorite concert. If you're in a bad mood, you have got to watch this concert. So it's Santana live in Woodstock, 1969. And they're just having so much fun. It's pretty cool. Everyone was probably completely high, but it's all good. So with this pad, you can do anything with this paper. So this is the same pencil paper combination. It's the Col-Erase pencil with a couple of brushes and that mono zero eraser. So you can see I'm not doing a background tone on this one either. It's just a time thing. You know, I prefer not to waste my time doing a background tone, although background tone is much better for atmosphere and environment and all that. So I'm just trying to make spend my time with the actual figure itself and not necessarily the background tone. But with this paper, you can pretty much do anything. Let's see, what else we got in this pad? So here's another one, just a different value. Okay, so when you guys look at my pad here, there's distortion from my video camera. So you see how the ruler is thicker on the top and it's skinnier on the bottom? And do you guys see how the ruler is tilted on the video screen? So it's straight up and down in my studio. So there's major distortion going on with my video camera. So this paper is the best, in my opinion, for me. Not the highest quality, but I can do some good stuff with it. So and it's cheap and it's inexpensive and it's accessible to anybody. Okay, so yeah, I mean, I teach in the animation department, so what I do best is short duration gesture drawing. I love short duration gesture drawing. It's my go-to. Yeah, I'd love to visit Denmark. Matt, is a saint his lips have the purest form of the human language? I don't know about that, but thank you, Jeff. Oh, you're talking about Santana. You said saint. Hopefully you're talking about Santana. Yeah. I mean, look at this guy playing the bongos. Is this not the best thing in the world? I mean, he's just having a blast. And it's so much fun. Both of these guys, I mean, this is so 1969. Look at his face. Oh my God. For me, I don't have it. Well, I do have it. It's right here. So, Jeff, check this out. So, for me, everyone's going to give you a different answer, but this is illustration board. So, it's about a little less than an eighth of an inch thick, and you can't bend it. It's pretty, and I paint on it, and I use this for everything that I want, that I care about. So, illustration board, Strathmore 500 series illustration board. We can talk about that on the phone. I can tell you that it's pretty expensive. So this is flexible illustration board. So you see how I'm bending it? This is 2-ply, and this is gessoed for oil paint. This is oil paint. Okay, so this is 2-ply. It's a cheaper version, and this is illustration board that is gessoed, and it's taped onto foam board to make it rigid. Okay, so I draw on it, I paint on it. When I paint on it, I gesso it. I think we're coming to the end with this sucker right here. Just looking. I'm probably gonna just push some line for fun, but I think I got to. I'll stick around for a little while longer. Do you guys have any other questions? Because I think I'm going to be done with this drawing. It's not going to be a 5-hour rendering. It's just going to be a teaching drawing, a YouTube drawing. Thanks, Jeff, man. Appreciate it. You're working hard. I really do appreciate that. Now, me and anime, I like looking at anime, but me and anime don't really click. But I a lot of the teachers at my college, totally diss anime, but I don't. I think it's pretty awesome. That's not my thing. No, illustration board doesn't shrink for me. This illustration board is like the best. Wow, 19 and 19. So here's another one for you. This is so cool, Rolling Stones. This concert is pretty incredible. And the people, like, they don't even know what to make of it. It's so strange. Oh yeah, this is just awesome. All on YouTube. I could draw for hours with that. I love James Jean. I show his artwork in my classroom to my young 18-year-old students all the time. And I teach this thing in the classroom more on the business side of art, which is most artists, please listen to that. Most artists need to have a process, a style, and a subject matter. James Jean doesn't have that. He does whatever the hell he wants. But he's a rare exception. So I show James Jean as the rare exception of somebody who doesn't follow the rules and does whatever he wants. And I have mucho respect for James Jean. He's the bomb. Really love him. Don't know him. Don't know too much about him personally, but his website is just really inspirational and shows that you can do whatever you want. So he's a great artist. No problem, man. I understand. Yeah, I was born in 68, so unfortunately I missed that. When all this was coming out, I was pooping in my diaper. JamesGean.com, one of the best websites on the internet, and the work is incredible, and he's a true entrepreneur. And if you want to be, somebody asked me earlier in this live stream, what would I change in my career? I would have been a little bit more, not a little bit more. I would have been a little bit more entrepreneurial, because I was just really focused on the publishing industry. But James Jean focuses on every industry. Yeah, you got it, Joe. Yeah, you got it, man. No problem. If you guys have suggestions for some of these live streams, because I do them every Saturday morning on YouTube, And if I'm in the mood that day, I go on Facebook and I go on YouTube and I draw a little bit more like I'm doing now. If I'm having fun with the drawing and it's a good day. So if you have suggestions, the best way is to email them to me. Physically go to my website. The link is underneath this video in the description, members.drawingtutorialsonline.com. Click on the contact, email me a suggestion for what you would like to see in this. Yeah, the Bouguereau was fun. I've got to keep those drawings around me. They're all taped on my wall. I've got to keep them around me so I can access them a little bit more. So we're in this about 50 minutes. I think I'm done with this for now. It was a blast doing this today. I really enjoyed it. It's one of those days that I don't want to stop. You ever have one of those days when you're working and things are going fun? Uh, there are days when they're not so fun, but today is pretty fun. So as an artist, you're going to have those good days and you're going to have those bad days. And there's a lot of mistakes with this drawing, but I'm still enjoying the process. So I'll try to zoom in just a little bit. Maybe you guys can see some texture and we'll call this one done. Or at least I'll try to zoom in. So when I zoom in, you guys, can you see some of that texture? It's really fun to do that with the brush. So I can move this around a little bit. So again, this is a tiny little drawing. It's not big. So if I kind of zoom down here, get a whole different vibe to it up close. That breast, I mean, I'm pretty good at drawing breast, but that breast killed me today. Yep. So notice how I faded off and see all the pencil stroke direction to try to create form. So if you want to see how I started this piece, definitely check out the video from earlier today. All right, any last questions here before I sign off? All right, cool. There's a little delay. I'm just letting you guys catch up. Yeah, there's some things that need to be fixed. Gosh. All right, cool. So thanks, guys. I appreciate you visiting with me here today. It was a lot of fun, and jeez, it's 6:18. Holy Moses! I gotta stop working today. Yeah, you guys have a great night. Okay, thanks for visiting, and look for another live stream next Saturday. Cool. All right, see you guys.